So you get down there. What was that like?
It was incredible. I got assigned. So in the early days, they were hurting so bad to get people in that were qualified. And at the time, we were only taking infantry MOSs. So the pool to pull from was challenging and competitive. And at the time, I was able to PCS to MARSOC and await my spot at selection. So I was there for maybe a month before I went off to selection, and my entire job was just to prepare for that.
Yeah.
And I was around. It was in a platoon of same types of Marines.
Yeah.
All combat vets.
Yeah. Was the selection? Did it stack up how you thought it would? Was it?
Oh, it was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
That's a recurring theme here.
Dude.
Totally kicked me in the nuts. Wasn't expecting it. How long was it?
I think it was a little over 3 weeks.
Okay. You made it first time?
Yes.
Yeah. How many guys started versus how many finished in your group?
We had somewhere around 100, and we graduated in like 32, 38, somewhere around there.
Did most of the 70%-ish quit or just not make it?
We lost a good portion of them in the first few days. So the way that we did it was out of Courthouse Bay, Camp Lejeune. We did kind of like your initial screenings. You do a PFT and some psych evals, stuff like that, and you'd be surprised that weeded people out.
Yeah.
Then we did the pool.
I wouldn't be that surprised, actually.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it happens. But one of the really huge differentiators was the water.
Yeah.
And they threw us in, 30-minute tread with full camis. The guys were just dropping.
Yeah.
Just quitting.
Yeah, that's wild. So you make it through that, and then now that you're selected, what happened after that?
So at that point, I go back to, at the time, it was Marine Special Operations Advisor Group, which ultimately became 3rd MSOB. So I went back to there. I was assigned to a team, and I started doing OJT, waiting for my seat to go to ITC. So I think I got back in February of 2009.
ITC is what?
Individual training course. Okay. So it's our qualifying pipeline.
Okay.
What makes you a Raider.
How long is that?
Ours was 9 months.
Yeah.
We were the second class, though. The first class technically wasn't even considered ITC until I think they were maybe a month in, and then it got the so-called designation. And theirs, they graduated and then had to come back for an additional like amphib course.
Yeah.
And theirs I think was 8 months. And then, they're still just trying to figure stuff out for ours.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to one of my buddies the other day. He's still in, and he told me that he did a stint at the schoolhouse, and he was talking to some of the cadre from there, and they straight up told him, like, we didn't even know what we were doing back then. We didn't know what the limits were, and we just pushed you guys until you broke.
Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, that's it. Like, all right.
That's the standard.
That's the standard.
Yeah. Wow. And I love it. So with that 9-month pipeline, is it broken down just into like different tactical blocks of training, and what are they generally speaking?
Yeah. So I want to say the first portion was like small unit tactics, just brilliance in the basics, infantry tactics and building on that. That had a culminating exercise called Raider Spirit, and this is like that thing where they're like, how far can we push them till they break? I don't know if you've ever done any training out in like North Carolina, Camp Lejeune area.
In North Carolina, yes, but it was a secret squirrel intel base where it wasn't physical. So.
Yeah, where we were is just like all swamps.
Yeah.
And so everyone got trench foot. We're out there for like, I want to say it was 3 weeks, just living miserable.
Yeah,
100-pound rucks, just moving like 75-mile movements at a time, like just crushing you.
Wow. And then, so infantry, small unit tactics.
Yep. So that developed into, I think from there we did A and B. So one half of the class went through SEER, and we did full spectrum. MARSOC had its own, which was actually really well done. I was impressed. And then the other half did flat range. And then from there, we moved as a class into CQB. We did, I want to say, month-long package for CQB, and then we had a qual, standard like SOCOM qual. We lost a lot of guys at that point. And then from there, we moved into more of the irregular warfare and special operations tasks. Obviously, your typical like foreign internal defense, DA, SR, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Was that the end of it?
We had a culminating exercise called Derna Bridge, kind of like ODAs do Robin Sage. And that was, I want to say, 3 weeks long, something like that.
Yeah. And then you graduate and you make it.
Yeah. Somewhere in there we did an amphib package too.
Yeah. All right. So a 9-month pipeline, you kind of cover everything basically that you're going to be doing. And then from there, now you're a raider.
Yes.
And from there, where did you go?
So I went back to, I think it was the same team. We're in influx, right? So we became MSOAG, the third MSOB. Well, it was the third and fourth, and then it consolidated fourth back into third. So our team designation changed, but it was the same people.
Yeah.
So I get back to that team, and at the time we began our individual pipeline, workup. So I was like the 18 Fox equivalent for our team. So I just started going through all my intel schools, getting trained up, some other, like basic stuff like jump school, things like that. But then we started our team training pipeline workup for, I think at the time we were slotted for the mission to go advise the Kenyan Rangers for their incursion into Somalia. And then ultimately we ended up losing that mission set, and we went over to Senegal. We're training the Senegalese special forces for combat or counter narcotics deployment that they were going to go on.
Yeah. Wow. Taking one step back, when you graduated, did they make a big deal out of it? I mean, did it seem like a big deal? Obviously it is, but I mean, was it like, holy shit, we made it?
It was.
Yeah.
We started with 120 and graduated 38.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
At this point, MARSOC had really started flourishing, and there was a lot of tradition being put into what we were doing.
Is there at that point, once you graduate, an insignia designation that you're now awarded that if you're walking around base, everybody's like, holy shit, that's a MARSOC guy?
Not at this time yet. We didn't even have an MOS.
Oh, wow.
So at this point, we graduated. And
so you couldn't even brag about it?
I mean,
without saying anything.
Yeah.
You couldn't walk around. It's like, with a trident on your chest, like
correct.
Everybody knows what that is, But.
Yeah. The biggest differentiator at the time was like your dual cool is what we call this, your scuba and jump wings.
Yeah.
Gold wings. And so, that was the thing. Everyone's like, all right, I gotta get my dual cool now.
Yeah.
Eventually we ended up getting an MOS, and then down the road, the radar device.
Yeah. So, all right, so you go through the individual pipeline, fast forwarding to preparing for advising the Kenyan Special Forces. Did you go do that?
We did not. We did the workup for it, all the intelligence development, preparations, intel prep of the battle space. And then, it came down to, I think ODA got that JPAT.
Yeah.
So we go over to Senegal. We do that workup and then deployment with the understanding that we would, I think at the time we were going to go from there to like Botswana or something, somewhere else out in Africa, and then that all gets cut short and we get brought back because we're going to get chopped to, at the time we're on the west or east coast, we're going to get chopped to the west coast to first MSOB to go attach with Alpha Company to go to Afghanistan. So we get brought back early. All those other missions get cut short, and we go straight into our individual training again. do that for a few months, and then immediately deploy to California for the rest of our workup. So, we were there for, I don't know, maybe 6 months leading up to our deployment for Afghanistan.
Yeah. You were in Senegal.
Yes.
For a little while. What was that? What's Senegal like?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And what's the culture and the people like there?
Yeah, they're a very active people. They all embrace physical fitness, and it's a part of their culture. Like driving around Dakar, the capital, kind of like some of those main avenues throughout the city. They've got running tracks, like little stations for calisthenics, pull-ups, all that kind of stuff.
Do the people seem fit?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Despite a lot of poverty and, just what you're going to deal with in Africa, they seem to be, doing well and mentally thriving in that environment.
Were they receptive to you guys as Americans? Like, how did they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The populace and their military, very welcoming.
Yeah.
Great
cool.
people. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So going back to, you go to finish your workup to go to Afghanistan. You end up going to Afghanistan. And this is what, 2010?
No. So by this point it's 2012.
Okay. Was the group that you went with, was it all MARSOC guys? Was it a contingent of different?
Yeah, so our core team was MARSOC. So we had 14 individuals, and our core team broken down in 2 elements and a headquarters element. We had SARCs, in each of our elements. So they were basically, Raider. We brought them into the fold. They went through their own selection process and pipeline too, and then through the workup, they're trained to the same standards.
Yeah.
So that core team was then reinforced with enablers, and at the point that the place that we were going to was going to be in Kajaki district of Helmand province, and we're going forward to do district stability operations, which up to that point everyone had been doing village stability operations. And so our team was pretty robust. We had, I think, total of 23. We have everything from dog handlers, comms. We had maintainers, for our RG31s, EOD techs, humaners, pretty intel, SEGINT, all the complements.
So a pretty significant contrast from the last deployment you were on.
Absolutely.
In every way.
Every way.
Gear, training, caliber of guy, not to take anything away from infantry guys, but
no, it's just way more time spent doing those basic tasks, those infantry tasks.
And way more support.
Way more support, all the funding,
Yeah.
it was different.
And how was that deployment? Was it busy?
At first, yes, but then towards the tail end of that deployment, we knew that the team coming to replace us would just be tearing everything down for a drawdown. So it was kind of a kick in the gut.
Yeah.
And so we had to kind of change our approach, and our leadership was a bunch of seasoned dudes, and we had a lot of kind of junior guys that hadn't seen combat. By this point, MARSOC had opened it up to any MOS. Like, if you meet the standard, you're an operator. And so a lot of those guys just didn't have that experience, and they're hungry, and they wanted to go out and get in gunfights. And it was just a different approach that we had. Our myself, the other element leader, our ops chief and team chief, we just didn't want to lose anybody again, We didn't see the
for
point
no
to
reason.
it. For no reason. Yeah.
No, I get that. I mean, to me, it's such a kind of a double-edged sword with young, hungry guys that want to get some. And I think most of them do until they do, and then they realize, don't shy away from it, but don't do it unnecessarily. It's so weird. Like, the younger guys are, the more gung ho they are about doing really stupid shit, and it's like there's a difference between being brave and courageous and having valor versus, just being fucking stupid about what you're doing to say you did something.
Exactly.
So early on, when it was still busy, were you guys going out and getting into gunfights, or was it?
Not quite. So before we set into Kajaki, we're down in Lower Helmand at Leatherneck with our like sister team at Camp Bastion, and that team they had the mission of working with the 7th Kandak, the Afghan commandos, and they would go out and clear white space for teams that were doing village and district stability operations. And so, we get there, I want to say it was November 2012. And our plan was to set in December, into Kajaki. But for whatever reason, we ended up getting, pushed to the right. I think it was our logistics train was just so messed up. There was, it took a lot of effort to get anything on trucks the whole way up there. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of, just roadside IEDs. And so to plan for that, and I think it was we wanted to wait till the ground froze a little more.
Yeah.
To make that movement, safer.
Yeah.
And so we instead stuck down there at Camp Bastion and planned a dagger op with the 7th, with our complement, our sister team in the 7th Kandak.
What is a dagger op?
So dagger op is that insert to create that white space.
Okay.
Basically, you're going in there to bang it out with the enemy. And so I was, because I was one of the element leaders and I had some secondary tasks to build out, source networks. I was, afforded the opportunity to go on that operation. And so it was pretty hair raising. We flew in on Black Chinooks with 160th, and going into there, we were going to set off on the Y 300 meters from our actual compound that we were going to go take over, and push out our patrolling ops from there to create that white space. And we get about halfway to the drop point, and our JTAC, is on comms with we had a half skid out in front, just checking the area and looking for any activity. And, we're all on comms with the bird, so we can hear everything going on. Our JTAC starts just dropping bombs because there's dudes literally out running, setting up positions. I think we had, over a dozen EKIA before we even get down on the ground.
Wow.
So, 160th makes a call halfway, in flight. They're like, no, we're putting you on the X. So we're like getting ready, trying to relay that to these commandos who are, they're just ready to just fall in line and get in the fight, and so ramp goes down and there's just gunfire going off, and birds from the sky raining down hell. We got C-130s on station.
Welcome to Afghanistan.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And we were there for 3 days just duking it out. We were launching mortars from the courtyard. Guys were coming in on the tree line 100 meters from our position.
Were you getting some at that point?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was crazy.
So you don't have that bullet from.
Yeah, and that was the first time I got to actually shoot mortars in combat.
Oh really?
It was fun.
Yeah. Did it take you some time to get that dialed in, or were you pretty effective with it? Right?
No, we were very effective. This team, was their, I want to say their second or third rotation doing this.
Oh, okay.
And so they had it all figured out. We had the mortar plate. The second, we get into the compound, we're setting that up because that is our lifeline, on the ground. As soon as air's gone, that's it.
Yeah.
So we get, the mortar plate set in, and we got all the azimuth spray painted on the inside of the courtyard all the way around.
Oh, nice.
So, we got FO on the roof, and he's just calling out azimuth, distance, and direction. And we're hand firing this.
Yeah.
So we're just aiming at the numbers on the wall. Like, all right, that's roughly 180. All right, we got to go here.
Yeah.
Hey, about this inclination, boom, dropping.
Yeah. And just slaying
And
people.
just correct and fire, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. What's the range on the ones you guys are shooting?
They're 60s, so I don't know what. Oh man, I should know these things, right? You know, it's all.
You should know it better than me for sure.
Yeah.
We never fired mortars other than like, you know, a couple times in training, just fucking with it, you know. But
yeah, I think you could get 1,000 meters on those.
yeah.